Aloha. I'm here with Uncle Whit down here at Whit's Inn. If you make it here, you've gotten to your Whit's Inn and you might start getting some. He'll give you a hand at that if you just listen to him a bit. And he has got quite the stories, and I have gotten to hear some of them. And this particular one, he does have a book. Oh, do we have the book, Whit?
Yes.
We can show them the book. We can do that here in a bit. And you can order the book on Amazon. Is it on Amazon? Yeah. All right. This is the book, Like the Sun at Midday. All right. But this story isn't in the book. And so I've asked him if I can be the holder of this story for him and share it with you, and he has agreed. So from here on out, I'm going to let Uncle Whit take the stage.
Wow. Well, yeah, the fact that I've gained some notoriety in my life, and part of that is as a storyteller, and then a woman that lived here was impressed enough to write a book about me, Like the Sun at Midday is referring to me, so I'm bright enough. And my favorite, or what I thought always, without any doubt, my most amazing story was what I called the hair story. And she had heard it, and it's not in the book.
Oh.
And that was the first thing I asked her when she sent me the copy, and the book was selling to thousands of copies, and she's giving lectures and things. Said, why didn't that story make it in the book? And she doesn't really have an answer for that, and it doesn't make sense. It's just this amazing story, but yet it has to make sense. It's perfect that somehow this story has not been really revealed to the world. A few individuals here and there have been part of the story, or saw it, or knew me and heard me tell a story, but for the most part, this amazing story hasn't been fully released yet, and it's right up there with most unexplained stories ever told. And it happened on Mount Shasta.
Okay.
So that adds to the story, and it really adds to their stories of Shasta. This deserves to be in that book.
Okay.
But they don't even know about
well,
this
they
story.
might now.
This story may make it finally into the book of the stories of Shasta, because this really is.
All right.
I went there a bunch of times in my life. Loved that mountain. Freeway goes right by it, so you really get to see it anytime you're going north and south, up and down the west coast. But in '84, the Rainbow Gathering the year before, at our Vision Council, we had picked California. '83 was Michigan. I was there.
That was my first one.
Nice gathering, Upper Peninsula. And I got photographed that year and ended up on the front page of a newspaper. There I am, sitting at the crystal, giant crystal we had with my son, and I didn't have any. Anyway, I had, I went to Mount Shasta in '84 with dozens of us, 50 of us at least, were camping out on Shasta at this one man's land, and we had yurts up that I owned at that time. My marriage had broken up just that year before, 6 months, so I was a roadie. I had enough money, pretty successful grower, that I had a school bus, maybe even two, and a trailer with yurts, so I could set up a real nice sized camp.
Nice.
I had 4 or 5 yurts, and they were 28 feet in diameter, and really about as big as this room, big enough for 30 or 40 people to sit in the circle. And we had a main yurt where we focalized the media and different events that were coming at us regarding the gathering. I being one of the we, were speculating that maybe it was going to be on Shasta, that year's 1984 Rainbow Gathering. Some, like me, thought near here is good enough where we can look at Shasta in the distance. We don't have to be on Shasta, but let's huge amount of turf right around Shasta, with it just standing there all alone like a perfect pyramidal volcano. So, assuming that's a lot of us were camping right up there. Beautiful camp, lots of good memories, good balance of men and women there, and really some sweet memories. I go to sleep in a yurt with 15 other people. I was in the kitchen yurt that night, not the meditation yurt or whatever it was, which had more cushions and blankets, and I'm surprised I wasn't in there, but for some reason I was on the dirt floor of the kitchen, possibly with a rolled pad underneath, but in a sleeping bag on the ground with others. Distinctly remember 2 women were sleeping next to me, 2 sisters, names, no, not part of the story, don't remember. And we probably typically were up till 9 or 10, smoking cannabis and talking vision, reading books, and there were lots of different things going on. And then sleep. So I don't remember anything unusual happening that night.
Now, you said you were reading the Bible.
I thought I was reading the Bible. Some people ask me all the time, what were you doing that night? I'm pretty sure I was in front of this huge quartz crystal.
Okay.
One of the biggest a lot of us have ever seen. And we had one right there in the middle of the yurt. And we were channeling out of many books. They were all books of wisdom were welcome. The Bible was pretty popular. We would just open it up sometimes and go, here we go. And I was the voice. Somebody else might, but they were more than happy. Most people let me read, so I was very comfortable being the reader.
And the one question that you weren't able to answer was, what were you reading from the Bible?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So,
may be relevant, but I don't remember.
And your hair?
My hair was below my shoulders, pulled back in a ponytail with a rubber band, and
was it locked? It was locked or no? It was just normal hair.
I never knotted my hair. I never thought about knotting my hair. I brushed it.
Okay.
So I had brushed hair, and it was no knot at all in my hair. Hadn't even ever thought of knotting my hair.
Okay.
Go to sleep. Anyway, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I feel probably upon awaking is pain, maybe, on my head. I reach up and feel the knot.
All right.
My entire hair, all my hair is now in a knot about the size of a double fist, maybe a little bigger than my fist, on the crown, on the absolute very center top of my head. And it's tight enough to hurt. It's tight. And I'm just sitting up in this memory in my sleeping bag, and here's the 2 women and all these other characters around us, but the 2 women particularly were just sitting up with me too. And I said, what? And they were looking at it, and that's the original knot right there. This portion. This ending thing here. When I touched it that morning, the rubber band fell off in my hand. Completely unexplainable. How did the tail had been sucked up, in other words, through the rubber band somehow, and was now in this knot right there, and the rubber band fell off, untangled in my hand. Not even a hair. And I was speechless now that I'm reliving this, so and they're looking at it, speechless too, and they said, we could cut it off, but we can't untangle it. I remember them saying that, and I said, no, there'll be no cutting off. This is way too unusual. It just got my attention again. I just went, what happened? I had no, it still doesn't make any obvious sense. I mean,
Right.
it's not obvious. I've speculated, well, no, I'm marked. I'm a marked man. This is like a facial tattoo. This is a statement.
Yeah.
I'm now going through life. Everybody that looks at me knows, oh, he's different. We're not going to hire him if he even wanted to work at the restaurant.
Right.
Probably
What year was
no.
this again?
1984.
1984.
So almost 40 years ago, 39 years ago, a little bit over 39 years ago. I'm 37 or 38. That's where I'm at in my life. My marriage had broken up that year, 83. I was on the road, rainbowing it. I was dedicated to going to the gatherings and focalizing and working and just helping and being part of the whole process of helping kind of humanity overall, but through this one effort to cultivate consciousness and then return to the earth and be in balance with nature and learn to love each other, take away get rid of the patterning, the programming, that kind of stuff. A lot of things, psychedelics, a lot of things were taking place. I didn't do. One of the questions asked me was, were you on acid that night, Whit? And I went, no.
Not that night.
I don't know if that would have been part of this story anyway. Look at all the people that have tripped. Millions of people have tripped.
Their hair hasn't done that.
Would have nodded.
So
Maybe
how
a
did
couple
it get?
people nodded.
How did it get bigger then?
So what happened was, okay, I decided immediately, no, I'm keeping the knot. And my hair was like now. Here's this normal hair on the sides, but right up here is the knot.
Right.
And then it was even the darker brown, not gray. And over the next maybe year or two, it matted my entire sides into a helmet with a knot on top.
Wow.
And it turned kind of blondish almost. It doesn't look as gold as it used to, but I thought this thing was almost bleached to like gold, and like it was like, wow. I was kind of enjoying that too, like, wow, my hair's getting a chance to really lighten up from the darker,
Right.
which is my normal color. So here I go, I'm going through life now with this helmet with a knot of hair. And then people see different things in it every day. And if you weren't the right personality for this would have been hellish maybe. So I think most people maybe in general would have just cut that knot that day. Oh no, they would have foreseen. This sets me aside. For me, it was perfect because I could tell, oh, I can handle the attention. Watch what happens. I knew. You're going to get highlighted every day, and you're probably going to enjoy it. So, just going through life randomly at the laundromat, at the store, at Safeway, at the bank. Somebody would go, oh my God.
What is it?
Your hair is, well, I've never seen anything like that before. Whoa. How'd you do it? Is a big question. How'd you do that? Then I developed my protocol, and I would say, oh, first you guess how you would do it. Make
Right.
your hair into a knot like this. You could just try to imagine. And nobody, including me, I don't think anybody ever guessed it yet. We don't know.
Right.
I don't know, they don't know, but they don't know that I don't know. They think I made it. Nobody's ready for, okay, now that you've all given up trying to guess, let me, look at that shape too, that fetal
Right.
shape with the backbone and a tail, almost a little hands.
Yeah.
And the face, can you see that?
Yeah.
That is, there it was. Now this knot, once it got to the helmet stage and with the knot on top, began to digest the helmet. Who could
It was
plan
like a
this?
living thing.
This is 7 years. Whatever hair was on my head, 7 years worth plus 7 years of having the knot. That's that much hair. It sucked the helmet, the remnant of the helmet's right there, sucked the helmet up and made the backbone longer as this knot grew down my back.
Oh, man.
In time, in the 7 years, it had made it down to about here.
Oh, I bet that was uncomfortable.
Very, very painful on my head almost the whole time. Scalp does not like this. Even at night, I was in pain. I'd have to lay there just going, fuck, even now, my scalp is bumming.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, you're a warrior.
Wow.
Once you cut this off, no one's ever going to see anything like this again. This is like less than once in a lifetime.
Right.
Once in many lifetimes. No, it's one of a kind story is what I can understand. We never heard a story like this, and not in one night. Now that just falls into the realm of the paranormal or unnatural, and I've had past life readings and hypnotic regression trying to unlock that night further, and I kind of run into a wall. There's like some understanding there, like I was in Shasta, maybe inside Shasta, in the tunnels, in the underground civilization, remnants of Lemuria, the Brotherhood of Light. Come in. Hi. Something is going on inside the mountain, and so I've got stirred memories of being in there, but it's not very clear. Anyway, in regard to this knot, I could never answer it. The evolution of the knot, though, continued to grow, and then I wore the tam a lot. I had a hat that would contain it and help keep the weight from pulling. People came up to me almost every day, for sure, and said, how could, this is a Christian, on the streets of Santa Cruz, just came up to me and said, how could you do that? And I went, what? Because I didn't know what was triggering. And she said, well, that looks like a giant penis to me. How could you do that on your head? How gross, how pagan. And I went, wow.
That's what you see?
I see what you see. We can.
Right.
And yet, obviously, others see other things in it. I mean, the yoni is there, too.
Yes.
This is like,
I see a dragon.
See?
There's like a bear or
She's recording the non-story, so I'll let you guys listen.
So, yeah, there's like a dragon right there. I can see. And then this away, it's like this cute little animal or something.
It's an animal. It's kind of, most women will not touch this.
I'm not most women.
You're not. She's probably not either. She's probably not either.
Didn't know if you wanted to handle it. I'd love to.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like, is it gonna jump on me, or are there creatures in it, or bugs, or rats even? Like, I could just see them primarily going. The average woman was like, and probably dirty, so it stinks. And it doesn't. I washed that. I washed it as often as I washed in my lifestyle. So I'd be in a shower and I'd just let it soak with hair, and with water, and soap even, and squeeze it, and it would flush out. And
So you finally cut it.
so the day came to cut it. I don't think my friend in Northern Cal, we were in some remote area doing pot oil or some extraction process, staying in a cabin. And that was just it. I just had reached a point, I think, of pain for like years. Had really just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
He didn't believe it. Nobody would. I said, cut my hair. He said, what? No, what? I said, cut my hair. And so he did. And I had the knot sitting in my lap, and I was like, God darn it. I've seen myself in mirrors and stuff.
Right.
Still, oh my God. This is why I was a little surprised it was left out of the story book.
It's almost like one of the Hawaiian helmets.
It is very Hawaiian helmet, which kind of sweeps forward like this.
Yes.
It also looks like Tibetan high priest helmet and Hopi. The Hopis have a helmet-like thing too, and I've noted it because of my own hair. I've looked and went,
Yeah.
who figured this out?
Right.
They did a good job. And then here's a good story. I've got a couple more that are part of it. This one, I was in a I just come out of a laundromat in Olympia, Washington. I'm in the parking lot, probably going to smoke a joint or just kill some time. And a woman comes up to me, but this happened a lot. Whoa, dude, what? How? I said, try to guess. She said, well, I want you to know I'm a professional hairdresser. She looked at it and went, speechless. How did you do it? Tell me. I said, well, first I want you to guess more thoroughly. And she said, well, I'm in the middle of a convention right now, right there. In that building, there's 50 of us, including the grand dam of from New York City of hair. Yeah, no, really, the grandma. Would you come over? And I said, yeah. It was perfect for me. I would totally can do this. Like, yeah, okay. So everybody gathers around me, 50 at least people, like, all staring at it. I'm bending them over. Some of them were hardly any touched it though. It was just like, and nobody could guess. Not one super glue. I heard down low, super glue, and I heard it enough to say no. I just know there's no super glue in here. You've never seen anything.
No.
Unnatural in here. So anyway, no. Okay, well, no, we can't guess. Tell us, and then I tell them.
Don't know.
I didn't lay a hand on this knot. This is entirely self-created. Swear to God. I know it's hard to believe, but I didn't start with some imagination that I had, and my friends and I, or somebody working on it for weeks or days or hours or anything. No. One night's sleep, I go to sleep, I wake up, and it's there. And it's mind-blowing. I'm mind-blowing. Every time I tell a story, I think, well, now that's the 100th time you've told a story, and it has a powerful effect on me, too. It's reminding me, oh, bro, you're like a galactic commander. You're a son of God. What are you? This just doesn't happen. This just doesn't happen. So you've been touched by the finger of God. You've been reconfigured up in a spaceship, is one of the great guesses that I kind of like. Beamed up. Bring me up, Scotty. Take me home. And then, no, you still got a mission. You got quite a few more years to do with. You got a lot still to do. But this knot, for me, helps me. In some days with doubt mixed in, some days that are so hard, like, what the fuck? And who am, and woo, and then this knot was kind of like, oh yeah, you're an alien from another planet visiting, and you know, you'll write a book about it or be on a talk show back on your planet later on. This is fucking a mission, buddy. And you can't, because of the nature of the mission, we all had to go covert. We had to agree to not remember how big the story is, how many lives are involved, how deep our souls are. Galactic. So I'm not even kidding when I say, oh yeah, that's right. You got to remember you're just a visitor. You volunteered, you came. This is kind of a alien, Lemurian. One of the women said, oh, I totally see you, Lemurian, swimming like a reptile through warm tropical oceans. And I knew, oh, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And you're partially reptilian in this millions of years ago, or a blur of time, and it's all the same. It's all kind
Which leads me to our next thing. So, Whit, tell us about your...
Well, the puka shell thing, I liked when I saw my first necklace on a surfer. And they've generally, back in those days in the 60s, their girlfriends made the necklace while they sat on the beach, because girls didn't really surf back then. The boyfriends are out there surfing, the girls sitting on the beach talking, a little bit bored, and they're fiddling in the sand. And one of them's a little more industrious than others, one or two of them, and they get puka shells and they make a necklace. So the first necklaces I ever saw were on the surfers, made with fishing line, with fishing, not jewelry fittings, but old fishing hook. You know, not a hook, but a
Those little clamps
fasteners.
and
And I liked them though, and they weren't fitted or like mine, reversed or tapered. They weren't purples. They were just standard white kind of. And I liked it enough though to go try to find them, and I did. I began to find them on Kauai's where I was living then, and they're on every island. Usually on the west side, the dry side of the island, there's beaches that have the reefs where the shells live. These are the top of a cone shell. This disc is the top of a cone shell. And when it hits the surf, after it dies, this exoskeleton breaks down and it leaves the disc to the very end. All the tip of the cone shell disappears, grinds away, and this thing actually gets a natural hole in it. When they're really thin, they have a natural hole, and they're therefore the nickname puka shell. Puka is the word for hole. It's a shell with a hole in it. You could have puka pants, puka head, but puka shell, specifically this kind of shell now, over the years, it's not any shell with a hole in it. It is that shell. This one right here, this disc. And at the right beach, you can find a handful on a good day. On my gold mine, I can go find handfuls on a good day. I can come home with a pretty good sized bag and make 10 necklaces, 8 or 10 necklaces. That's a good day for me. I'm the top of the pecking order, I suspect. I'm so good at it, and I've done so much of it that my eyes,
can see it.
I see it.
Yeah, I met
see
an
it. I go-
ambergris hunter that was the same with ambergris. He could find that.
Find it.
Yeah, that
And if your eye, of course, we all can. If once you decide
Once
this
you-
is my thing, and do it enough, you get better and better steadily, and your eye improves, and you learn the difference between the shell and coral. See, that's the two whites on the beach. You're looking down from this high, and you see something white there. It's a waste of your time if it's coral to bend over and go like that. So I had learned. I can just tell by the opaque, it's slightly different white.
right.
The texture of it, something. And I feel so smart when I go, I got you. And taking you home.
And so these are available. You can contact me, and while I'm here, I can grab one and mail it to you, or you got to come through me, and I'll get you to Whit to get a necklace. I'm going to take some to Aotearoa, New Zealand with me.
She's bringing them.
And so
buying $500
if you're
worth.
going
This is a
over
pretty big
there,
deal
if
right
you're going to
here.
be there and you want one, let
She's
me
going to
know.
give them to some of the elders and the right people. And it's going to be, I've been to Australia and given some away there to 2 Aboriginal elders. Totally knew that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
They didn't know it was coming, but I did. I knew if I take extra necklaces, not just mine, as soon as somebody looks at that a little bit, you know, especially Native people, the right people, I was ready to like, here, take my necklace
Right.
on your
Right.
neck, because I want you to wear it the rest of your life. Knowing you deserve it, it's an empowerment moment for them.
Yes.
So I powered up a couple of elders during my visit to Australia. She's now going to do something similar
Yeah.
with her visit to New Zealand.
Yes, I have.
Thank you.
I have Stony and Kane are definitely both getting one. I'm hoping to get some Poanamu from
That's the
to
jade.
bring back.
That's their name for the green jade that they make. There's a lot of different things, and sacred objects for sure, but artwork.
Yep.
And but some weapons maybe too with that jade. I've seen some things maybe.
So we're going to do some cross-cultural exchange, and I am honored to hold this story for you, Whit. And
This could be the beginning of the story going a little more global, because it's pretty darn amazing to me that I haven't been put in front of a camera like on TV even and gone, okay.
Gaia
I thought I could
TV,
wake
like
into
what in
Saturday
the
Night
heck?
Live or any of those things and just go, you guys want a pretty interesting, and I know this is mine, but here it is. And it was on my head back then, and I kind of fantasized, bring the polygraph test along, and we will find out if I'm lying or not. Because it's so hard to believe. I mean, it's just so, how did that not ever happen? And then have some real pro hairdressers look at it and go, we're speechless. We have no idea.
So you were at this rainbow gathering too, Ananda?
But I didn't know Whitney.
You didn't
It was
know
my
Whitney
first
then?
one. I was a
In
virgin.
84.
I'd hitchhiked. First time I hitchhiked across the country
so
too.
Michigan. We were both in
Nice.
Michigan then. '83. I flew in from Hawaii with one of my sons and made on a bus and hitchhiked into that gathering.
But I that is where I met Fantuzzi. So you're probably in the same crowd.
I might have been in the circle with you, and we just didn't realize it.
Yeah. So what do
That
you
was a
think
small
about
gathering.
his
7,000 or 8,000.
It's cute.
Michigan '83.
Looks like it was alive at one time.
it does look like it was
It
alive.
does look alive. Like,
Yes.
dang.
It's very dragony to me.
My dad is dead, but at this time was a captain, retired captain, U.S. Navy. Normally in command of hundreds of men, a whole ship or a flotilla of ships even. I mean, the guy's a solid captain. And I'm his only son. I'm the firstborn. And I started dropping out hard at 20, 21. Deserted from the Navy after I got drafted at 22. He swore me into the Navy. This is an interesting, nobody's ever heard of this, but my dad had the power to bring me into the Navy like that. Because the power of the captain is so extreme. And at Christmas time, and I was going to be in the Army like in days, he said, I'd like you to join the Navy instead of the Army, son. I want you to survive. Our mother and I are really worried. Please join the Navy. And I said, okay. Good choice, good way to go. Okay. So I joined the Navy, and but I ended up deserting for conscientious reasons, like a year and a half later, 2 years later, and becoming a big, that's a pretty big controversial move. That was a big move. Nobody in our family ever knew anybody that rocked the boat like that. That was just mind-blowing, I'm sure. Plus, I clearly said I will not pay taxes or be part of this system that bullies others, many. No, I'm not going to be part of that military thing, and I won't do it. Won't kill. No, in fact, I want to, rather than fight it, even though I proclaimed in my letter to them, if I could, I would be willing to throw my life into the machinery that makes this thing work, hoping to stop it. But I don't see that as a real choice. So knowing I can't stop it by giving my life, I want to live my life as fully as possible as my antidote to this death cult. I'm going to go to the forests. I'm going to go to the clear spaces, not the cities, and find others, and ally, and become the hope that something good can turn out of this mess, because otherwise it looks like we're heading towards disaster. This is me in the 60s. I see us as America, Western civilization, as suicidal, in the sense that they're rushing towards a collapse. It has to happen. Anyway, I don't want to be part of it. I want to eject early and go over there and try to make a landing place for others who come out before it's too
So
late.
what did he think about this?
Oh yeah, so I was
That
getting
was
to
like
that.
your
Okay, so that's why I started the story about my dad. I come home I've had the knot for a few years. It's firmly on my head. I returned to my family. I've been having a giant gap, so they hadn't seen me for a while. I walk in the door. Mom says, "Hi. I hope you stay for dinner. Oh, we're playing poker tonight, please." And no, just all this really normal family stuff, and I've got this knot on my head. And I'm thinking, oh, somebody must have tipped them off. Because they're completely in. My dad, "Hi, son." They're all in agreement to not talk about the knot. Not like, what the fuck? So I quickly decided, oh, this is amusing, so we're not going to talk about the knot. Okay. I'm not talking about the knot. I'm not going to press. A couple of years go by, roughly,
Wow.
and I'm interacting with my family. And even when they had friends over, they must have coached their friends to look.
Don't
We
talk
think
about
our
the
son
knot.
is so weird that he did this, and we don't want to give him attention. We know he did it to get attention. Look how much attention he must get all day long. People are going, "Woo, what the fuck?" So we're not going to give him attention. So all this time went by. I totally forgot that they hadn't even asked me one question ever. The whole family, cousins, aunties, uncles, whoever was interacting with my parents, everybody was just pretending like hell everything was normal. And I found it slightly amusing sitting there at times, knowing this is the elephant in the room, kind of the 600-pound gorilla that nobody wants to talk about. So, getting to my dad, I'm sitting in a room like this one day watching news. And my seat is right here. I'm on the floor. My dad's in a big cruiser lounge chair right there behind me. So my head is between him and the TV. And so he's forced to stare at it as he looks at the news. And I didn't see it coming. I'm just sitting there watching the news. All of a sudden, he just explodes. I'm enjoying this, recapturing this. Explodes in the chair. "God damn it, son! I know you did that to blow my mind, you fucking asshole." And I'm on the floor rolling around laughing like, holy shit, he finally blew. And he thinks I did it to blow his mind. Whatever. That's cool, blowing my dad's mind. I got to admit, there's some value there. I enjoyed it. The captain was mine. So I'm rolling on the floor laughing. I mean, it's really the best laugh of my life. I'm pretty sure this. He's storming around a bit. But he's not an intimidating guy. He's smaller than me and all this and that. Despite the fact that he's a captain, I'm an admiral. There's just something in our personalities, and he knows it, where there's no bowing or sir thing. I don't know. He and I have that thing going. So after I get the good laugh in, he's like, "Why did you do this? How could you do this? Why? Why?" And I didn't have that. I didn't have an answer. I know, like, if I had a choice, because it doesn't seem like I did, it happened to me. What? Well, here's this. You guys want to hear the story? Mom, you guys ready to hear the story? They did. I said, okay, well, I've been kind of waiting for this moment, and I don't think it's because I need the attention or want it. I think it's food for thought that some things happen that are unexplainable, or what alien? What happened? I'll start by saying I don't know. I've tried to know. I should know. I should know. I don't know. It's part of the story. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. But this is what happened. Blah 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 blah. I'm sleeping on Mount Shasta.
Knew you shouldn't have hung out with them hippies.
I knew it. Hippies have diseases that you wouldn't believe.
They make your hair do that.
This is.
No, what was their response? I'm sorry.
We're all speechless. It's just like now you don't know what to say. I don't either. Like, here's the story. Now what? I mean, I feel like most people go away like, I don't know. I even going to retell a story? Frankly, my feeling about the public is still kind of like, this just hit some other level of, doesn't fit in the brain, doesn't quite want to
Right.
take it in. Just like, holy shit, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Can my hair do that? Would the hairstyle catch on? Like, if the story goes viral and more people start waking up with hair like that?
Oh, it's contagious.
I still want to know what you were reading in the Bible.
Yeah, wouldn't that be neat? That'd be a good question if I go back to a hypnotic regression again.
Yeah.
Let's take me back to that night. And this time I have a couple of extra questions. Let's start with, what was I reading?
Well, thank you, Whit. Thank you for Ananda, for both of you Rainbow Elders, for sharing some of your stories with us. And
The Sun at Midday is online, $17.
yes, and
She gets, the author, Amy gets $6 of it.
I
She's made a good, she's
How many have you sold?
thousands, which isn't you're not a bestseller till you get the million or whatever, but she gets $6 a copy sold, and they get whatever 11, because there's 17 is what I've heard. I bought about 30 of them. I've gone online and bought 10 at a crack and then just given them away.
nice.
Now it's up to the rest of the world whether we're gonna go big after this. This is the one I kept for myself, but I asked people to, I loan it and then ask them to rotate. Here's Rose
Great.
and Ray. We love you, Whit. Blessed to live and share an unwritten story with you each day, as many as can be. Loving our lives on the Aina, aloha, mahalo, full circle, attitude of gratitude, time to embrace greatness and prosperity with radiance, abundance, love, light, joy, growing and blossoming in oneness together. Love, Rose.
And that wasn't the Cajun rose. That's another variety that came through.
This is a different rose.
Right. Well, I am so grateful to be here. I'm going to cut this one off, and maybe sometime we'll get some more stories from Whit, and you can... Perfect. This is such an interesting place to visit. Whit, do you have a final message for everybody that is tuning in to this?
A final message.
Well, on this.
On this?
On this video.
For this is, you're going to be sharing this with me.
Yes.
Well, let's not give up. Let's never give up. Let's know deeply that we're making a difference, that it's a positive change that's needed, that we're part of, and, you know, kind of be proud of it. Kind of be happy that you're part of this and not lost completely. It's hard to wake up.
It is.
It's a miracle. They've really tried hard to enslave us. It's hard to believe there's that kind of darkness. I have a hard time believing in it. I've had to read some books to, you know, prove to me that it's real. Now I realize that, you know, okay, I'm a fairy tale guy where, you know, okay, if there's darkness, but it doesn't get to win. We win, and the good prevails, and we're going to live happily ever after. So I'm going to stick with the fairy tale. It makes the most sense to me, and on I go.
Well, I'm going to take some of these wonderful gifts of yours over to Aotearoa.
Oh, that's going to be so wonderful to share. That's a bridge from Hawaii and then me to others. And please feel free to share my phone number, address, maybe encourage some visitors. Hey,
Yes,
check
well,
Hawaii
that's
out.
what I'm saying. If you want to share how to get in touch with you, or we'll write it
She
down
must
and
be
I'll...
needing some attention. Or I mean, usually when we get loud.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get going. I'll share how to get in touch with Whit and what his offerings are. And maybe we'll get down here to visiting one more time before we go, and maybe we can even do a live if y'all like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments that y'all would enjoy that. We might be able to do one more visit because we got to come down and pay him for these.
Oh yeah, you got to come down and pay.
Yeah.
What?
I'd like to borrow the book if you're offering to lend.
Oh yeah, I will.
All right. All right. Say aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.